President Joe Biden says that he is not budging, and he insists that Americans should each get $1,400 stimulus payments. It's part of his push for Congress to approve more aid money, and the president's White House COVID-19 response team offers a warning to football fans: punt on big Super Bowl celebrations so they don't become COVID-19 super spreader events. White House correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen?
Tracy, good evening to you. A very busy day here at the White House. Now, earlier I asked White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki if President Joe Biden will at all reach out to pro-life Americans considering some of his recent pro-abortion executive orders. You'll hear more on that exchange in a moment. First, President Biden wants the American Rescue Plan to get done.
President Joe Biden met Democratic senators to talk dollars, $1.9 trillion of them. The president says his proposed $1,400 direct payments to Americans is a must-have.
We'll get Republican support.
To the extent we can work with our Republican colleagues, let's do that. At the end of the day, if we can't, then that's fine.
And as Americans wait to see how much economic stimulus is coming their way, the COVID-19 response team says coronavirus cases remain extraordinarily high. But Dr. Rochelle Walensky said the coming days could bring less death.
And the recent decline in hospitalizations gives us hope that the number of deaths should start to decrease in the coming weeks.
As for schools reopening their doors during the pandemic, some teachers' unions are balking at heading back to the classroom before getting their COVID-19 vaccinations.
I would also say that safe reopening of schools is not, that vaccination of teachers is not a prerequisite for safe reopening of schools.
And with the Super Bowl coming this Sunday, the panel says don't turn it into a super spreader.
Whichever team you're rooting for and whichever commercial is your favorite, please watch the Super Bowl safely, gathering only virtually or with the people you live with.
Also today, as I mentioned at the top earlier, I asked Press Secretary Jen Psaki a pro-life related question. Here's how that exchange went. President Biden has stated he wants to unite the country. In the first 2 weeks he's been in office, however, and much to the great disappointment of pro-life Americans, he has revoked the Mexico City policy. He has ordered a review of Title X and issued a statement strongly supporting Roe v. Wade. Is the president going to make any effort to reach out to pro-life Americans in his administration?
Well, those have long been the president's positions, and he certainly was just restating them and delivering on promises he made on the campaign trail. But the president will reach out to all Americans, and that is how he's going to govern, what he talked about in his inaugural address, and he has every intention of delivering on that promise.
If I may follow up on that, will he, you described him as a devout Catholic, will he use his faith to guide him in any policy decision making?
He does attend church nearly every weekend, and that's something that's important to him personally and to his family. And he's talked about the impact of his faith on healing and everything he's been through as a human being. So certainly it's a guide to him as a human being.
Now, I also asked the press secretary if President Biden would be open to considering mandatory year-round schooling or full-time summer school to get kids caught up, kids who've been left behind in the pandemic. She said she has not yet spoken to the president about that matter. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.